We've all seen the news about colleges going test optional, but does that mean the SAT and ACT are over? In this video, I'm going to explain 3 reasons that those tests are in a lot of trouble. First, a little bit of background. I've been teaching the SAT for almost 20 years, so I can't even believe I'm up here talking about whether it's going to go away. The SAT and ACT have defined so much of the American educational experience and college admissions, it is really hard to imagine a world without them. A couple of other things to remember is that the makers of these tests are incredibly wealthy and powerful. They've entrenched themselves in the American education system into individual state legislatures. There are states that actually have to rewrite laws in order to remove SAT and ACT requirements from their public universities. These programs are large and established. There are so many other programs like the NCAA and scholarships that are tied to the SAT and ACT that make it very hard to get rid of. Another thing to remember, guys, is that test optional is not the same thing as test blind. A lot of colleges have only announced a 1 or 2 year test optional policy, which means you can still submit an SAT or ACT if you want, but you don't have to. Test blind, which is much less common, is when colleges say, we aren't even going to look at your SAT or ACT scores. But there are 3 reasons that the SAT and ACT are in a lot of trouble. And the first is that we're just kind of losing faith in them as tests. We know that they're not scientific, objective measures. If they were, then why are the test writers, the College Board and ACT, releasing test prep materials and bragging about how effective they are? And college admissions officers are losing faith in the SAT and ACT as a meaningful contribution to an application. College application already has a lot of stuff in it, including the high school transcript. And the high school transcript is the single best predictor of success in college. Adding in the SAT and ACT just doesn't tell that much more. It doesn't tell as much as you think it would. So this crisis of faith in the SAT and ACT are definitely damaging to both of those tests. A second reason the SAT and ACT are in trouble is that people are realizing these exams are just not fair. If you look at SAT and ACT scores, they correlate more to household income than they do to your future success in college. In other words, if I'm looking at a high SAT score, I know more about the money you have in the bank than the kind of grades you're going to get in college. And that's a problem. If these tests are going to be part of a fair system and people can game it by working with expensive test prep tutors, then why do we have them at all? Let's make a fair admissions process by removing the SAT and ACT. And because those exams are losing that argument, the exams are in a lot of trouble. And the final reason these exams are in trouble is that test optional policies work. Remember, before the pandemic even happened, there were more than 1,000 colleges that were test optional. And once colleges go test optional, they almost always stay that way. Colleges find that they don't really get that much information from the exams. They can make a really great undergraduate class for their campus, and students won't have to worry about test prep and all the stress of these exams. So once we've got these colleges going into 1 and 2 year policies like they are, it's just highly unlikely they're going to go back to normal in a couple of years. So although I don't know the future and I'm not going to make a specific prediction, it looks really bad for SAT and ACT right now, and I think that might be better for all of us. If you want updates on college admissions, check out the link in our description to sign up for our newsletter.